The King has returned. Derrick Henry back from the IR, officially activated yesterday. Suiting up for the number 1 seed Titans in Nashville, going up against Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, and the freshly playoff win Cincinnati Bengals. It's been a long time for them. What is it, 30-something years? 31 years. Hey, not bad. Welcome to the show, guys. My name is Tyson Smith, joined by Ellie Hernandez. This is the Edge DFS. As usual, we're doing Showdown. Ellie, how are you, man?
Doing pretty good. Ready to start this weekend, hopefully with some good football. I'm excited for some of these matchups tomorrow, man. I'm really just stoked to see the Bengals play another game. I'm a fan of Joe Burrow. He's just an exciting kid to watch. So it should be a really fun game too. I mean, especially with Derrick Henry returning, dude. I think it's going to be a weird gambling game, DFS game, and just overall game to watch. So what about you, dude? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited. I'm excited about these games. We're going to be doing all 4 games from this weekend. So later today at halftime of this game, the other video for San Francisco Green Bay should be out, so keep an eye out for that. And we're doing a giveaway, guys. I'm giving away this Joe Burrow rookie card, graded. You know, why not? We're doing a Joe Burrow game. Once we hit 500 subscribers, all you have to do is comment in the comments below your favorite captain choice and tell me your favorite value for this matchup, and I'll randomly choose one of the comments and send this out to you guys. So when we hit 500,
looks like we got.
Go ahead, bro.
Looks like we got 20 to go. So
20 to go, dude.
I think we can get there.
We can get there. We can get there on this show. So as soon as we hit 500, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna give it away. All right, let's get into this, guys. Let's do it, man. This should be a fun show. This is gonna be kind of a tough building. It's gonna be an entertaining game, but showdown wise, this might be a little bit tough, man. You're basically going to have to make some tough decisions. Derrick Henry is super expensive. Jamar Chase is super expensive. Joe Burrow is expensive. You're probably not going to be able to get the top 4 guys into a lineup together. That includes Tannehill, even though Tannehill's priced down. It's just after building for a while, there's no captain that you can comfortably choose and still fit in both quarterbacks, Henry and Jamar Chase, and then not have to punt in that last spot. So, Ellie, what are you seeing so far as we're starting to build here? Just some general strategy and things that you're thinking about as we're getting through the show.
Yeah. So just my initial looks at it, I really think we're going to have to consider playing a mid-tier captain to be able to jam in guys that I'm comfortable with playing. Unless we get some weird news tonight, I just don't really see any value that I can necessarily trust. But I do think there are a couple game scenarios that we do need to talk about that could impact some usage on the Titans side and could open up at least a little bit of value at the running back position there. So when we get to the running back part, I think we can talk about it more there. But yeah, man, I think we got to look at what captains we're comfortable playing from the mid tier and then see what we can actually jam in from there. Because I know we got a guy like AJ Brown, he's priced down. You got Julio Jones priced really nicely. But I still don't know if that's going to be quite enough to give you the salary you need to build. So we'll see when we get to the build. But right now, I'm not comfortable with any of the value.
Yeah, I mean, there's the guy probably the lowest guy that I would go to comfortably right now, and I use that word loosely, is Jeff Swaim at 1,800. And I mean, and it still scares me. So usually we could find some value that we're halfway reasonably comfortable with. It's still a gamble, obviously, but you know that they have opportunity. I don't know so much about this slate. We're gonna have to really get creative on this particular slate. So let's look at these lines here. So Cincinnati, obviously in Tennessee, relatively close. Pick'em's close. Spread's 3.5 in favor of Tennessee. Over/under's 47.5. That could change. This is It'll probably change as we get closer, but as of now, 47.5. It's a decent total. So, are the Bengals getting too much credit here going into Tennessee? I know Tennessee is not a sexy 1 seed. They're coming off of a bye. They're healthy. I expected maybe Tennessee to be a little bit more of a favorite here. Did you?
I mean, this seems reasonable. I don't think that they're underestimating or overestimating Cincinnati. This is still a playoff game. I think anything under, really, I think 38% win odds is still probably kind of low for a playoff game. I think I'm hoping, this is more wishful thinking, to be honest with you, but I'm hoping that Joe Burrow can keep this interesting and that offense can be explosive against the kind of weak secondary that you get from the Titans. But one of my concerns here is that they're really not that complete of a team yet, right? Their offensive line is garbage. They probably should have never let Oakland back in that game. So there is a good potential that they could get a little dose of reality here too. So don't underestimate the Titans' ability to just stick to their running game plan and play hard-nosed defense and make it tough on the Bengals. So honestly thought that Titans be favored by a little bit more there.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're one Derek Carr pass away from Bengals being eliminated at this point. Yeah. I mean, if Derek Carr waits an extra second and throws the ball to Waller in the corner of the end zone, maybe we're not talking about this game right now. But either way, Bengals won. That was the most entertaining game of the weekend, which was surprising. But look, you've got a terrible pass defense for the Titans going up against a great pass offense. And then you have a not-so-good rush defense for the Bengals, dealing with some defensive line injuries, by the way, from last week, going up against freaking Derrick Henry. So, look, before we get into this any further, there's not a whole lot of injuries to talk about. What are your thoughts on Derrick Henry's workload? Are they going to unleash the beast? Is this guy getting 100% of the carries, or do you think they're going to ease him in a little bit here? He hasn't played since week 8.
I don't want to dissuade anybody and make them think I'm taking any bold stand here, but I do think there's absolutely the potential to see Derrick Henry capped at like 70 to 75% of his normal workload. The backup running back situation that they've had here hasn't been awful. They've been able to fill in pretty nicely with Derrick Henry being out, and they still got the number 1 seed. The Cincinnati defense is porous. So I do see that there's a potential that we could see more of a kind of J.J. Watt type situation here where he's out there for those important plays. Like if it's 4th and 1 at the within the 5-yard line, like they're giving it to Derrick Henry. They're not going to try it with Dontrell Hilliard or whatever. So that's really just something that I think you can kind of keep in mind in your builds. I think he's priced that way too, to be honest with you. He probably should be closer to like 12.6K. But I think DraftKings is kind of uncertain with what's going to happen here too. So I don't know, man. I think that there's going to be some unique builds that you can get just by fading Derrick Henry with that mindset in head.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to injuries here. Really nothing to talk about. Obviously, Derrick Henry's back. We don't know exactly how much he's going to play, but this is a playoff game. They're the number 1 seed. I have a feeling they're going to unleash him as much as possible. Maybe they keep him out on 3rd down. Maybe they, on obvious passing situations, they don't even bother putting him into block. They'll throw in Hilliard or maybe Dante Foreman. We'll get into a little bit more of that when we get to the running backs, but besides that, there's really no one else to talk about. Now, the Bengals defensive line is a little banged up. Hendrickson looks like he'll be back, which is a big deal for the pass rush against the Titans. He had a concussion, so he'll probably be back. And Mecole Pruitt is out still. So nothing really to talk about here too much. So let's just, I don't know, man. You want to get into this breakdown? Let's just get it going.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Break it down. All right, we're going position by position. Help us out, guys. Get us to 500 subscribers with this show. We're only 20 away. Hit subscribe, like, comment. Help us out. We appreciate it. Joe Burrow, 10.8K. Ryan Tannehill at 9,400. That's pretty low for him. $9,400 is a good price. You got Joe Mixon, I think, at 9,800. So you got a running back on a pass heavy team, a running back that hasn't been doing amazing, price higher than the quarterback of the number 1 seed team. So it's kind of interesting here. Ryan Tannehill, to me, they're projecting around the same. Joe Burrow and him, but you save $1,400. I mean, are you prioritizing one guy or the other? It's going to be hard to fit both of these guys in there together without fading Henry or Chase, right?
Yeah, I think naturally you're going to have to choose between one of these quarterbacks. I don't think there's going to be too many 2 quarterback builds unless you're just, fading, like you said, Henry or Chase, or even just like the running backs entirely, Henry and Joe Mixon. But I think honestly, Ryan Tannehill is a little interesting to me. I fully anticipate that he's going to come under ownership, but his projection seems pretty reasonable. And it seems like it's going to be pretty close to Joe Burrow. And if he's going to be coming in at an ownership discount and just a discount in general, that's the kind of thing that we're looking for in savings this week. And I mean, this offensive line is really bad. Joe Burrow could easily end up with, 200 yards and 2 fumbles and 2 interceptions because they're getting decimated, right? So, I think that opens up some more opportunity for Tannehill to be in the opto. And even if he doesn't have a ceiling game, like what is it, 27 points there, and those other weeks, 13.5, 14.5, 11.9. But this is the playoffs too, so I think there's opportunity for Tannehill to rush. He can get those goal line rushing touchdowns. I kind of like him, and I think that saving that additional money over Joe Burrow is going to be pretty helpful.
Yeah, and look, Tannehill has about 3 rushes a game. He's about 5 yards per carry, and he has 7 rushing touchdowns this year. I think that is sort of the X factor here with a guy that's a quarterback priced that low, where we need clear value. And obviously he's not value, he's 9,400, but for a quarterback, that's relatively low. And if it was me, I'm taking that first touchdown prop, Tannehill tomorrow, or later today, and I'm also taking just anytime score Tannehill because I think he can come out and rush for a touchdown. So look, I'm hot on Burrow, obviously. We're gonna have to make a tough decision here. You see these numbers are outstanding from Burrow. I think he's the obvious choice. He's going to be probably, second highest owned, most likely. But Tannehill, his numbers aren't sexy, but look at his completion percentage. 71%, 75%, 72%, 71%. He's relatively efficient. He threw for 4 touchdowns last week. Yeah, it was against Houston. But he's rushing the ball okay. I don't know, man. This team, the Titans, could come out actually, they could put up a dud. But I anticipate Tannehill coming out and playing well, especially after a bye. We have to remember this, this team had a bye. I know they had to wait a week to figure out who they're playing, but still, they're still able to prepare a little bit more so, and they're well rested. So anything else to talk about here before we move to running back?
No, man.
All right, let's start with Tennessee. Derrick Henry is 11K straight up. And then you got Dontrell Hilliard at 3K, and you got Dante Foreman at 4,800. Both of these backup running backs will be less than 5% owned, I have a feeling. Now, my question to you is, which one do you prefer more? If you had to choose, you're not saying that you would want to play any of these guys necessarily, but I mean, Hilliard is probably the best option here, considering he's 3K and he's going to get those passed down. He might get a couple random draws on third down. If you had to choose one guy for value, you going with Hilliard or are you going with Foreman?
I don't know, man. I think Hilliard gets a slight nod just because he is $1,800 cheaper. But I think Dante Foreman at 4,800 could be just as valuable, right? I definitely think it's possible that they put a snap count on Derrick Henry. But I also think that they could have like some alternating rotation on the first drive to see if he's really needed. And if Dante Foreman can kind of get a couple handoffs and do okay with it, there's a good chance that they could cut back on Henry's usage overall. So if you're building to fade Henry, like I think you have to potentially consider throwing Dante Foreman in, because he's still going to get the goal line carries or whatever if they end up a bunch or whatever. Dude, so
it's so true, man. Like, I don't think you can be I'm not going to necessarily do this, but if you wanted to take a bold stand and say, I have to fade one guy in this game, one high price game, it'd probably be Henry because of the unknowns.
Yeah.
He's the highest priced dude, and we don't know what he's going to do. We don't know how, I mean, he looks cool in practice videos, but how does that translate after being off for that long? I don't know.
And look, I mean, Derrick Henry is probably going to be 50-60% ownership. I mean, he might be a little bit higher, but with that, I mean, both these running backs are going to be under 10%. So if you're doing a 20 max, right, you can do 3 lineups and kind of have those 3 lineups with some variation of these 2 guys. Feel pretty comfortable that, you know, those might lose, but if for whatever reason Derrick Henry does get cut back, then you're getting the benefit of that. And you can still have some lineups that fade Derrick Henry and still be even or above the field on Derrick Henry. So, you know, I think this is a good slate to do 20 max if you're not used to doing that, or if you're just entering random bullets. Play at 25-cent 20 max instead of entering a bunch of $5
totally
or like 3 milli makers, right? You're probably not going to win those anyways, and you have to play someone stupid to win it. So, you know, go mess around a little bit in the 20 max and rotate a couple of these guys in, and you can be safer.
If you have $20 to play for this game, do 2 25-cent 20 maxes, do a single entry, like spread yourself out as much as you possibly can, because this might be a little bit of a tough one to figure out. We might have some random dude like Nick Westbrook-Akine score 2 touchdowns or something random like that. So just keep an eye out for that. All right, let's switch out to the other side here. Look, play Derrick Henry, I guess. That's pretty much play him, and if you don't play him, have a plan to maybe throw in Dante Foreman a little bit. All right, so Cincinnati, Joe Mixon is 9,600. He hasn't been necessarily on fire. He's going up against a tough defense, tough rush defense. Last week he had 11 fantasy points. The week before, 15. Against Baltimore, he had 31. So he's been okay. I mean, if you look back, there's a 3-week stretch where he kind of busted. Is Mixon the guy that gets forgotten about in this matchup? I mean, typically speaking, Mixon would be one of the highest owned players. I mean, 9,600, he's kind of in that no man's zone. He's $200 more expensive than a quarterback. So what are we doing here?
I actually like Mixon, man. I think you're fine kind of being with the field with him. He is going to get slapped on a little bit. Everyone's going to be trying to jam in the pass catchers from Cincinnati, so you're getting immediate leverage by kind of prioritizing Joe Mixon a little bit more. And this isn't the Raiders, right? Like, I think Joe Burrow understands that going in. Like, Joe Burrow, he did great in that game. He had he crushed, and I understand the Titans secondary is not very good, but the Titans still have playoff experience, right? They do have that pedigree already. So Joe Burrow is essentially a rookie. I mean, last year he played 3 games or whatever and tore his knee up. So this is a young quarterback making his second playoff start, trying to get a second win, and this is on the road. So yeah. I just really think that there's some leverage to be gained by jamming in some Joe Mixon. And honestly, you could even fade Derrick Henry too and do the opposite build entirely. Take the Cincy run game and the Tennessee pass game. I think it's priced really nicely to do that too.
Yeah. So Samaje Perine, 2,600, Chris Evans. I don't think I'm really interested in either of these guys. I mean, you're looking at Perine here, gets a random snap here and there. He's probably getting about 20% of the snaps. And Chris Evans really getting less than 10% of the snaps when Joe Mixon plays. I don't think you need to consider playing these backups on Cincinnati, right?
No, not at all. I have no interest in any of them.
Yeah. I mean, on the other side of the ball, with Tennessee, it's a similar situation, but I just think that Joe Mixon, we know he's going to play the whole game unless he gets hurt. But we just don't know what to do with Derrick Henry. We don't know if he's going to play the whole game yet. So that's why the other options on Tennessee are a little bit more interesting. So wide receivers for Cincinnati, this is going to be fun to talk about here. So Jamar Chase, 10.4K. You got T. Higgins, 7,200. You got Tyler Boyd, 6,400. Mike Thomas, 200. I'm probably not touching him. But he's $200. He's worth talking about. So obviously Jamar Chase, he's been hot lately, man. He's 10.4K. I think he's going to get a lot of captain ownership as well. He should. But a 10.4K dude, like putting him at captain, it's gonna be hard to build, man. It's gonna be hard to build. So, is there any, do you like T. Higgins as a tournament option, especially at captain because of his boom or bust type output? And Tyler Boyd's a solid dude, getting 4 or 5 receptions a game. So can we consider we want to consider all these guys in the flex, obviously, but are you interested in any of these dudes at the captain spot besides Jamar?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure, man. I really do. I really do have some interest in T. Higgins. He can absolutely go off. We saw that 1 week. He had 200 yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns. And same with Tyler Boyd, man. I think I would prioritize Tyler Boyd only as a captain option. I don't know if I really necessarily need him at flex. If I'm stacking any of these wide receivers, I want to try and get Higgins Chase as much as possible. But Tyler Boyd at the captain is also a playable option. But dude, I love all 3 of these guys.
4 straight.
This shit they remind me of like Kurt Warner with Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce, and then Azeem and Ricky Prohl.
Yeah,
like, they don't have their Ricky Prohl, but still.
Well, he's got Tyler Boyd's got 4 straight weeks with a touchdown. I mean, I know that Raiders touchdown was a little controversial, but the dude was going to catch the ball no matter what. I mean, the whistle didn't really affect the play too much. But I think he's a serious option at 6,400. T. Higgins is a serious option at captain at 7,200. I mean, the dude puts up 46 fantasy points in a game. He puts up 31. He puts up 26. You got to consider him for that captain spot. And I think he'll come in relatively low owned because he's 7,200, and you might not be able to fit him in. All right, so we're going to move over to Tennessee's wide receivers here. A.J. Brown, 8,600. Julio Jones, 6,200. Nick Westbrook, 5K. And then you got some other dudes. Chester Rogers at 4,600. I'm not really interested in. I'm actually going to uncheck them for now. A.J. Brown, 8,600. That's a great price for him. Good captain options. Julio Jones, 6,200. I'm going to consider him at captain. And Nick Westbrook, not bad. Not bad from Nick Westbrook. Last week he had 17 fantasy points. Or I'm sorry, week 18 he had 17 fantasy points. So Ellie, talk to me here, man. I know you're a huge Julio Jones fan. I know you're a huge A.J. Brown fan. I'm really high on these guys this week. I don't know how popular they're going to be later on. We'll get better ownership projections as the day goes on, but talk to me, bro.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I'm kind of falling in love with that idea I had a little bit ago about, stacking Ryan Tannehill and some of his pass catchers and running it back with Joe Mixon. And the pricing just works out too nicely. I think both of these guys are on smash spots. I know Julio hasn't really done much all season, but this is why he's on this team, is to make an impact during the playoffs. So 6,200 for one of the greatest receivers we've seen in the past 20 years seems pretty reasonable for me, right? If he's going to show up, now's the time for him to show up. At 6,200, I think you're dead on. I think he's a great captain play. And he's priced where you want him to be able to get some of these other guys, right? Like, you're not. I was looking at Uzoma earlier for a captain spot, but you can play a similar price and have Julio Jones, and I know it's scary.
Yeah.
But if he has his 12 catch, 200 yard, 3 touchdown game, he's the optimal captain, obviously. Yeah. But he could easily do that. This is why he's here. This reason, to be in the playoffs.
And I know he's only had 1 touchdown this season. He's been injured. The dude, in theory, he should have one of these breakout games. Are we going to be there for it? Are we going to have him at captain? Are we going to be over the field with him when he does it? I hope so. I hope today is the game, because if he can come out at 6,200 and have 5-6 receptions and a touchdown catch, that'll be huge for us when it comes to value, especially throwing him at the captain spot. All right, so let's actually move over to tight ends here. This is a gross tight end squad here. When it comes to Tennessee, Ferkster's okay, 5,200. I had a shitload of him at best ball earlier in the year. Then, of course, he decides to go off once I'm eliminated from best ball. I appreciate that, Ferkster. Jeff Swaim at 1,800. Like I said in the opening, maybe Jeff Swain's like the lowest I'd consider going value-wise, and it's still a little scary. Jeff Swain's not really, he's not one of my favorite guys to throw into a lineup over the field. He'll probably be like 10% owned. So I don't know. What do we do here, man? Are you interested in Ferkster? I think people are just going to forget about him at 5,200. He's priced up quite a bit. He's not really the kind of guy that you would expect to catch like a couple touchdowns in a game and break the slate.
Yeah, I think that some of these guys are serviceable. I don't know if I necessarily want to pay 5,200 for Ferkster. I mean, we can pay up a little bit more and get Julio Jones, right? So, I mean, if I'm going to have to pay a guy like that, I think I'd even be more comfortable just running Jeff Swaim so I can pay up to get off of Ferkster.
Yeah.
So this might be a guy that I just end up with zero exposure to be completely honest with you.
He has 2 straight weeks with a touchdown, week 17, week 18. I don't know why they don't have the well, I guess on the other side they do. Hang on. Let me look real quick. I'm curious now. Do they have Yeah, they do. Okay, that was my bad. So I don't know, man. Swaim, I'm leaning towards Swaim at 1,800. Anthony Ferguson 5,200. No thanks. All right, let's move over to the other side. Cincinnati, CJ Uzomah had a touchdown. First touchdown scored. I actually had him in a random lineup last week. And this dude's always going to be an option for me at captain because last year when he got hurt, I don't remember what game it was, but it was earlier in the year. He got hurt and he was out the rest of the season. I had him in at captain late in the fourth quarter, and I was in first place. And basically up until the last play, I still was in first place. So this guy just always, I don't know, it always comes to mind whenever I see him. I'm like, all right, I got to try to fit him at captain because he's the kind of guy, especially at 5,600. Like you're talking about, if I had to choose between Ferkster and Uzomah around the same price tag, I'm going Uzomah almost every single time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think people are sleeping on him a little bit, right? He kind of gets lost in the entire offense, but he's starting to turn into something kind of special. I'm not gonna lie, man. Like he's exciting to watch, and he might be. Remember what we thought when we thought Tyler Eifert was going to be their like career tight end?
Yeah,
this dude's pretty good.
Maybe I forgot about him. I haven't heard that name in it seems like forever.
But yeah, man, I like Uzomah. Like I said earlier, I was on him a little bit at captain spot, and I'll still probably have a little bit of him there. He seemed to be a little bit of a safety net for Joe Burrow last week. They seemed pretty in stride and pretty comfortable. So, it's going to be tough to lock down all of these guys. So I think Uzomah is a good guy to get into some of your lineups,
especially in the red zone. Now, look, here's the one thing we got to bring up about Uzomah against the Titans against tight ends. That's a tongue twister there. Basically, one of the top teams when it comes to defending tight ends. When it comes to giving up touchdowns, they're tied for third, yards fifth, and receptions sixth in the NFL. So keep that in mind. I mean, look, it's one game, anything can happen, but they're a little bit better against the tight ends this season, typically speaking. All right, so kickers and defense. Look, Randy Bullock, 4,200. McPherson, 4K. Thoughts on kickers? Are we prioritizing them anymore in this particular game?
No, I'm not going to be prioritizing them. I'm kind of going to stand by it. I think keeping it close to one kicker is probably the best way to go, especially on a slate like this when you're uncomfortable with a lot of the value that's available. I think it is okay to kind of just go with the safe play and jam in one of these kickers. And then just the same little recorded bit I do on every show about the kickers. Randy Bullock is on the favored team here. So there is some good potential that he'll be kicking a little bit more frequently than Cincinnati. Cincinnati may need to go for touchdowns later on in the game. And then just absolute bullshit random narrative potential here. This is a Randy Bullock
revenge game,
isn't it? Didn't he used to play for the Bengals?
He probably played for 20 different teams, probably.
He's gonna go out and score 16 field goals, and they're gonna win like 96 to fucking 7 just on field goals alone.
Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
All right.
I apologize to everybody for that bit. You guys can proceed with your day now.
So our buddy Adam from Sports Capitalist, when we did a show with them, he brought up a good point about, you play one team's quarterback, maybe try to every once in a while throw in the opposing team's kicker. I think that's interesting in this particular game as well, since we know that we don't have a ton of value. They're coming in around 4K, and we're not going to be able to play 2 quarterbacks most likely. So that could be an option in this game. You play Tannehill, maybe you throw in McPherson and vice versa. All right, so defenses. These offensive lines are not great with stopping the pass rush. So we could see some fumbles. We could see some interceptions. We could see some crazy stuff happen. I know that this is could potentially turn into a shootout, especially with the Bengals. But at 3,800 for the Titans and 3,400 for the Bengals, one touchdown, one random strip sack for a touchdown, that changes everything, man. That defense is most likely in the optimal. So are you interested in defenses here, even though both teams can put up 30-plus points potentially?
I'm actually not opposed to Titans defense specifically. This might be recency bias at its best, although it wasn't very recent. But what they did to the Rams on that one primetime on Sunday night game just sticks with me. And if they can do that to the Rams, they can do that to a team with a decimated offensive line. The Rams are probably the best pass pro offensive line in the league. So I can see something similar happening. This is a game that I do see the potential for turnovers, defensive scores. This could easily be 31-13 blowout by the Titans. And no disrespect to Bengals or Bengals fans anywhere, but the Titans should win, and they should win pretty handily.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a trendy pick because Tennessee isn't really a sexy number 1 seed. I think it's kind of trendy because of the recent success of Burrow and the Bengals to kind of that this team can upset Tennessee. I don't necessarily see it happening, but I wouldn't be super surprised. I really wouldn't. All right, let's talk about our fades here. So Ellie, as we just talk about defenses, you were talking about potentially fading defenses. Did you change your mind during the show, or are you still kind of on that page?
Oh, no, absolutely not. I still really don't have any intention of playing the defense and special teams. Like I said, I may have a little bit of exposure to the Titans, have no anticipation of exposing myself to the Bengals.
Son of a bitch.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, this just isn't the game for it. The total is, it's decent. It's decent enough for me to shy away from defense, special teams.
Me personally, I'm not going to completely eliminate high price captains, but I'm going to be higher on some of these mid tier guys, 7K and under, or even 8K and under kind of guys that I think have high upside. I'm not super comfortable just fading 3 out of the 4 or 2 out of the 4 big guys. So I'd rather just go a little bit lower in the captain spot and hope that one guy goes off and just trust that the studs are going to do what they're supposed to do. That's just this particular matchup. All right, so let's go to our captain choice here. This is our Crown Their Ass segment.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
Ellie, you going Jamar Chase. I think it's a smart option. It's a great choice. You were toying with Uzoma, which I do like. But look, you can't go wrong with putting Chase at captain, right?
Yeah, I mean it's going to be tough building, but it's just I don't know. I don't even know what I'm supposed to say. The dude's stud. He's a stud. He's a badass wide receiver. I like him a lot. He's fun to watch, and also he scores fantasy points.
He's the kind of guy that if you don't have him at captain, there are certain games where you're completely just eliminated. Like you can't even cash. You can't even min cash. I don't care how perfect your lineup is. He's the kind of guy that has a ceiling that is unmatched in this particular game. Besides Derrick Henry, for the most part. But look, Jamar Chase can come out and get him receptions. Well, look, AJ Brown, I agree too. But I do think that Chase is a better option than AJ Brown, and Chase gets the receptions, man. He's gonna get you targets and receptions.
Remember when people thought he couldn't catch the ball?
That was hilarious, dude. That was so funny. That was the rumor going into the season. Maybe people were spreading that rumor because they were high on him. They want to grab him in fantasy drafts. All right, so for me, I'm going Julio. If you have a heart problem, a heart issue, if you're sensitive, don't do this because this is a little scary. Dude's got like 1 touchdown on the year. I'm banking on the impossible that he comes out and has a great game, but his price is just too hard to ignore. And with the pricing on all these other studs, man, it's just building with him. Well, you'll see because we're gonna build with him here in a minute. It's kind of nice. I can't deny how nice it is, even though putting him at captain is super risky. But hey, it's a good tournament option. All right, let's get into our lineup builds here. Jeez, Bitcoin crypto is getting annihilated. All right, I keep getting alerts on this. All right, let's look at dark mode here on Roto Grinders, and let's look at the Opto. T. Higgins at captain. You got $200 Mike Thomas thrown in there. Tannehill, Brown, Mixon, and Henry. Interesting. No Burrow. I like T. Higgins, but I don't know if I would go down that route. But hey, we'll see. Let me save that just in case.
You might have to just throw a $200 player in,
Hey, Mike Thomas, all he needs is a couple catches. If you nail it in the rest of the spots, man, you might be okay. We're not afraid to play $200 guys. Just nobody jumps out to us in this game. So, who do you want to build with here to start?
I don't know, man. Let's start with Jamar Chase, just because. Let's start with Derrick Henry. We didn't really. Let's just show how hard it is to build with these high-priced dudes.
So real quick, let me plug this giveaway. So I'm giving away this Joe Burrow base select graded HDA card 9. We just need to hit 500 subscribers. So if you're just popping in and you didn't know about the giveaway, all you gotta do is comment down below your favorite captain and your favorite value choice, and when we hit 500 subscribers, I'll randomly choose someone and I'll send this to you. All right, so King Henry at captain, most expensive dude. It's going to be hard to build with him. Do we want to fade Tannehill in this lineup?
Yeah.
Let's go Burrow.
Honestly, I think we go Burrow. What happens if we even try and throw in Chase?
Yeah, I think we should.
Jesus.
$12K for 3 spots. So we might want to go middle of the road.
We're going to need to look at value at this point because we're averaging 4,100 pretty much.
I wouldn't want to handcuff Henry at captain. I wouldn't want to throw in a Hilliard or anything like that. I don't know, man. There's just not a lot of value. Do you want to plug in a guy like Swaim, or do you want to go middle of the road with like Uzoma or Ferkser, even Julio Jones, a 6,200?
I'll throw in. Let's throw in Uzoma. Let's see where we can go from here.
All right, so we've got Burrow, Chase, Uzoma with Henry at captain. We got to try to probably fit in at least one more Tennessee Titan. So do you want to go kicker or something here?
Let's go. Yeah, sure. Let's throw in Bullock.
All right, Reggie Bullock.
I think we're gonna have to go into.
We're gonna have to go to our boy Swaim. Yep.
Yeah.
It's
and
not.
If you don't want Bullock, you can go off to McPherson or whoever's kicking for the Bengals, and leave.
You do save $200. Does that get you P Ryan? It does get you P Ryan. So that's a 1.5. Yeah,
but that's actually not a terrible 1.5 either. I mean, if Derrick Henry gets all the volume on Tennessee.
Yeah. All right, let's build another one with Henry. But let's throw in Tannehill this time. Let's fit in Mixon. Can we do Mixon and Chase?
We can try.
4,100 for 2 spots. We're gonna have to freaking go Swaim again.
Yeah, you definitely have to go Swaim.
Yeah, but you're still screwed. You're still screwed. You can't do it.
So what if you go Mixon and Higgins?
Yeah, I was just gonna do that. That's a good idea. Or even Tyler Boyd. Actually, let's go Tyler Boyd, dude. Let's just see let's see if it's worth it. 8,100. So you could always do like a kicker and then a defense, or a kicker and a Dontrell Hilliard or something. Let's just plug in Swaim and just see what that gets us. That gets us 6,300. That gets us Julio Jones.
I actually like that.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
I like that lineup a lot, actually.
Yeah, so, or instead of Julio Jones, you go to Uzoma. You can go to Ferkser, Westbrook. That's not bad. I just wish that Swaim had a little bit higher upside. He's on the field a lot. I mean, he's on the field quite a bit, so... but I just don't think they're targeting him in the pass game as much. All right, let's move over to another captain here. Who do you want to build with now?
Let's do Chase, and then we'll throw in Julio. How's that sound?
Let's do it. All right, we got Chase at captain. Do you want to throw Burrow along with him?
Sure. We'll do that, and then I want to do one kind of the other way too. Joe Burrow. Let's go Derrick Henry. Can we throw in AJ Brown?
Let's see. We haven't touched AJ Brown. 4K. So double punt.
What's his name? Yeah.
Ferkser and Captain America.
Can't really do that. So what if let's go to Julio from AJ?
Okay. Julio.
Jesus.
So you're in kicker range. You're in like Randy Bullock.
It's Swaim and McPherson.
Yeah, Swaim and McPherson, man. Or Bullock and Swaim. Man, am I gonna have like freaking 50% Swaim? This is scary, man. He allows these builds to happen.
Can we try something real quick? Let's see.
Yeah, what do you want to do?
Throw Joe Mixon in the captain.
Yeah,
I know
dude,
this is crazy.
I love it. I love it, though. As we've been talking about it, I'm like, man, I want some Mixon.
And then nice. Throw in, let's just throw in. Let's throw in Tannehill. Let's throw in AJ Brown.
Got to get us some AJ Brown here. All right, we got. I mean, are we fading Henry and Jamar Chase?
No. Let's see if we can get Jamar Chase in and see where we're at. 7,600. I think that actually gets us down.
I think we'll be okay. That gets us 7,200. It's not bad. Let's go.
So I'm actually.
Go ahead, bro.
Okay, so all right, call me crazy. Throw in Randy Bullock.
Okay.
And then throw in Dontrell Hilliard.
Hey, we talked about it in the beginning, man. If you're gonna fade Henry, why not?
That's an asshole lineup, but I don't hate it, man. Like, I really don't.
You're not really punting anywhere. I mean, Hilliard, yes, you're slightly punting. He's 3K. He gets you 4 receptions. He gets you 20 yards or something like that. You might be okay.
And here's the thing, dude. I mean, you can go from Chase down to Higgins and saves you a shitload of money.
Let's try that. Chase to Higgins. That gives us 10.4K. It's like probably like a Uzoma, Westbrook, a kind sort of a thing, or actually Ferkser. Let's plug in.
Throw in Julio.
Let's plug in Julio. That leaves us Randy Bullock or McPherson. Dude. I'm gonna have a lot of kickers, man. I don't like it, but I'm probably gonna end up having a lot of kickers in this matchup, unfortunately.
Dude, nobody's gonna Joe Mixon could come at 70% ownership, and I still don't think people are playing lineups like that because they're not gonna fade Derrick Henry, Jamar Chase.
I think Joe Mixon could come in at like 6th or 7th highest owned. Captain wise. I mean, really, he probably could. All right, let's do a Julio Jones Hail Mary at captain. Do we want to get Tannehill or do we want to go Burrow here? Or both. Let's try both. Let's try it.
Yeah, I actually want to because we have Julio there. So
we can go Henry or Chase.
what about this? What about we go Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins? Can we do that?
We can, absolutely. We can. They'll use a 6,900.
Okay, well, what about...
We got to go all the way down. It's almost not worth it because you got to go down to Uzoma there.
So what if you... Okay, so go to Higgins to Chase then.
Okay. Let's try it. 3,700, almost kickers. But it gets us Bengals defense or Dontrell Hilliard.
So what happens if you go from Boyd to Higgins? This is the most fucked up way to build this.
We're getting Swaim probably here. Boyd to Higgins, 2,900. That's getting us P. Ryan or Swaim.
Yeah, either are fine.
So you got Tannehill, Jones at captain, and you got Jeff Swaim. Burrow, Chase, Higgins. Hey, that's not bad right there. Burrow, Chase, Higgins. They can go off there. I don't know, man. I don't hate the Julio Jones. I mean, there's so many different options here. Let's try one more with one quarterback. Let's do Tannehill and Jones. Or actually, I don't know. Do you want to do a Burrow with Jones at captain?
What if... Have we done an A.J. Brown captain?
No, let's do it. Screw it. I know I'm playing music, but fuck it. We're going to do it.
So we're going to do A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry.
Okay.
Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase.
Oh boy, 4,900. Let's just punt. Let's go with a kicker and just punt. Like seriously, punt. So who do you want?
Put in
here?
Mike Thomas.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do you want Bullock or do you want McPherson?
McPherson.
Let's put in Mike Thomas, dude. Mike Thomas could get you a 0, and you might be okay.
Well, and that's solid, bro. You could get all the offense from A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry.
Is there a crazy captain that you want to play with here? Like literally like a 1% owned captain?
Let's see.
Like Westbrook Akine or I mean,
I think the craziest I would go is Uzoma.
let's do it. Let's build with Uzoma.
Okay.
Because I am going to have some Uzoma lineups at captain. It's just by default. All right, so do you want to do both quarterbacks? Henry.
Chase.
We can't get Chase. We have 0 salary left.
All right, throw in T.
Wait, do you want to just fade a quarterback then? You want to leave out?
Throwing T. Higgins.
Throwing T. Higgins? Okay. 3,200. Guess who? Oh, we got Dontrell Hilliard.
Yeah, sure, man. I don't hate it. Well, we got Derrick Henry, so that's probably not a good idea.
P. Ryan, fucking Jeff Swaim.
Yeah, let's get rid of Tannehill. Let's throw in A.J. Brown over Tannehill. Let's see where we're at.
Right.
Then can we go from Higgins to Chase now? No.
No, but we can get a kicker now. We can get McPherson.
Yeah, that's perfect, actually.
Hey.
Zoma, Burrow, Brown, Henry, Higgins. Yeah, I don't. That's nice.
Not bad, right? All right, dude. So not bad. Not a bad show. Not bad building. So what are your thoughts here, man? Who are you picking to win this game?
I think it's Titans. I'm going to go 31-13, like I said earlier.
Wow.
I love Cincinnati. I love what they're able to do, but they really they probably shouldn't have made it as far as they did. It probably should have been the Ravens, and good for them. But
yeah,
the playoffs are hard, man.
I'm going 21-17 Titans.
Oh shit!
Hit the under here. Who knows? I don't know. I'm feeling under, man. In Nashville, in the cold, in the playoffs. I don't know, man. I think this could be a lower scoring game. All right, guys, we appreciate it. Throw us a like. Remember, comment down below your favorite captain, favorite value. Not in the live chat, but in the comments. And we are going to see you guys later on at halftime of this game we're premiering the San Francisco versus Aaron Rodgers game. All right, we will see you guys later. Thanks.